Hello, guys, and welcome to Indiana Sports Connection. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. I am your residential anchor, Aaron. Thank you so much for being here and being part of this community. So, we're going to talk about the UCLA game. Preliminarily, this just felt like the last hurrah for the Hoosiers. IU, if they were able to piece this game together and piece out a win in this one, you could have started to kind of think, well, if they could beat Purdue somehow and get another quad one win there, and then with some of the teams they have down the stretch, and then maybe win a game in the Big Ten tournament, you could easily start to say, well, maybe they could get themselves into the tournament. And Ohio State is in the tournament. So it is just like very abysmal that this team, with all this money that we paid for them, that we let Mike Woodson coach, is just this terrible. So they played a little bit harder in this game. There's nothing to take positive when you lose a game like this. There is a lot of negative. I thought Miles Rice down the stretch had some plays where he just forced the ball. He never has really gotten into the flow of playing at all. But if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button down below. My name is Aaron. This is Indiana Sports Connection. And hit that thumbs up button. Get the video out to more Hoosier fans. And we do have a giveaway on the channel today. So Ryan Fulton, you won the basketball. So email me at indianasportsco@proton.me and collect your prize. You won the Greg Oden basketball. It was pretty much between you and Nickel Stacker, because I was going to pick a comment off that video, and there were a lot of comments in there from you too. So it goes to Ryan Fulton. Send me that email. But the UCLA game was, the first half, the offense was just abysmal. And to score 25 points at home, it was like a decent crowd. There was maybe like 13,000 people there. So, for a team that's really bad, they still get a decent amount of people pumped up for the game. But, it's just too little and far and few in between plays. The offense was so stagnated in the first half. Oumar Ballo definitely looked like from the beginning that he was just kind of getting outplayed everywhere on the court. And you could just see, I was at the game, you just see in person how, Ballo, he takes possession, he takes long stretches off. And, to me, if you're the coach and you're watching him not get up and down the court, I don't see how you can't just, yank him out of the game. But he's out there. But he played not a good game in this game. But it was the second half. Luke Goody, he is definitely the toughest player we have on this team. And we have a lot of guys that just really look like they're just looking for excuses all the time. Ballo, early on, he was just getting blocked out and pushed around by that Bilodeau around the basket. And it's all about leverage. I know Ballo, they say he's a straight up and down player, but at a certain point, you got to bend your knees a little bit and try to block somebody out. And at times, he does not do that. He tries lean on a guy here or there, and just kind of gets himself out of position and outplayed. So, the first half was frustrating to watch, just because the offense was so stagnated almost the entire time. And I know UCLA plays a real gritty style of defense, but the other thing is UCLA, they move the ball on offense a lot better than Indiana does. And it's not like they have some world beater offense. UCLA is kind of like Michigan State. They don't have somebody who's just going to be knocking down threes. Besides Bilodeau, they don't have guards that are just going to absolutely kill you. You wouldn't think, Kobe Johnson, he can hit some threes. But overall, I looked at that game and I thought, the talent-wise, and I hate to use the word talent, but it's Miles Rice just cannot get himself into the flow of the game. And he just has such a flippant type attitude out there. That is hard to watch. He had one really nice play, and I uploaded that one. I thought it was nice, that reverse layup. I uploaded that clip. But then right after that, it's he drives into traffic where there's a 6'9", 7'3" guy down around the basket, and you just get like clobbered. And he did that here. He just does that here or there whenever he wants to. Um, there was like an exchange late in this game, and I got a clip of it here, I believe. But it was just like they go back to the huddle, and it's like everybody is just arguing with each other. It was just really, really tough to watch. It's like, well, Luke Goody is telling everybody, he's like, I told you that was going to happen. It's like, why is Galloway still chucking up threes? I mean, I said in my pregame show, Galloway, don't shoot threes. And he even looks worse. I mean, I've never seen a guy shot regress so much because, in this game, he just brings the ball to the top of his head, looks like he's aiming it, and just throws it right at the rim. I mean, it's Brick City. I mean, he could build a house of bricks with the bricks he was throwing up in that game because it was just abysmal. Like, this guy's been playing basketball for 5 years. There's nothing to say about the players that just can't get it done, and they've been around for a long, long time, and they've been around for 2 separate coaches. I mean, Galloway has seen 2 coaches get fired, and that never convinced them not to go to the casino or not do any of this stuff. So there is no also communication with this team. Mbako, I don't think he ever opened his mouth once. I mean, I could hear UCLA players when they were on my end of the court and they were passing the ball, yelling out people's names. I mean, one guy like went into the lane and was like, "Here it comes." I mean, you could hear him say that. And when Indiana was on our side of the court, you just didn't hear any type of communication. That's why the passing is so bad. The passing is not crisp. I mean, and there's just no movement on Indiana's offense. So, I mean, we know this video. I mean, I know Mike Woodson's going to be gone. We're going to see a new coach. We're going to see a whole new, regime come in here. So it's like at some point, I don't really like to give up on the team entirely because, I'm still going to watch the rest of the games. But after this game, it's like, and I saw somebody left a comment on Kent's video, and that's why I use that as my title of this video, because it's like another 1-game win streak down the drain. And it's like, God, could that not be like the just slogan for like the last 2 years of Indiana basketball? Because we just can't get out of our own way. I mean, it's one good possession and 3 bad ones, and 1 good defensive possession and 2 good offensive possessions, then 5 minutes of you don't know what you're watching. But the offense, there is no movement on this offense. And I would say, I mean, Galloway and Rice in this game really got outplayed, in my opinion. And I could not believe that. I mean, Rice did not start the game. They started Leo, didn't start the 2 bigs, but then it's like almost like you started the wrong big. It's like you don't know which of the guys, like you don't know, you can't trust either one. I mean, you can't trust Renew to go out there and not get 3 fouls in the first 5 minutes, and you can't trust that Ballo didn't go out the night before or just looks like he's loafing around. I know some people said, well, he hit the deck on that one play. There was a sequence in this game right around the 8-minute mark where he got super tired, and Ballo is just kind of loafing around back and forth. He's not even getting back on offense. I mean, he's not even getting into the plays on offense. He's coming back on defense. It's like they went to him in that sequence. They went to Ballo one time down low around the basket, and you could tell he was just tired, and he really didn't make a move. He didn't make any type of move to draw a double team or anything. It's like he's far away from the basket. He just kind of chucks up like just a bad shot. And that's just this team in a nutshell. I mean, they're just not one player on this team you can trust to really do anything. I think you get a consistent effort out of Luke Goody, and I don't think you always get a consistent effort out of Galloway. I mean, even plays in the game. I mean, I know the play was right in front of me, the alley-oop that Leo had. I mean, that was a really stupid play. I mean, Galloway, that was way out of his reach. And if Leo stops right there, he could almost just like whip that a hook pass right around in there to Galloway, and he could have went up on 2 feet and just put the ball right in the basket, but not making the easy play. I mean, when you got a 2-on-1, and then that ball went out of bounds. I know you're trying to get the crowd in the game. You're trying to get everybody going. But at the same time, make sure you score the 2 points. I mean, you just there are just a lot of things left out there on the table for the Hoosiers. Like, let's look at I have not even looked at the stats of this game. But, yeah, I mean, I was sitting just right up close, which I was wanting to really see what this team looked like in person. And they look like a bunch of guys that really hate each other. I mean, they got their money. They're out there. They're losing games. And they look like they just want to go home and that's probably what's going to happen. They're probably going to go home. I notice in the press conferences now and this just shows like how much Mike Woodson doesn't really understand college basketball, because I notice now he keeps mentioning like, well, this team, they want to make the Big Ten, they want to make the tournament, and they want to make the Big Ten tournament. It's like, I mean, just that's where he's setting the bar, is to not be, I mean, practically in the past you would just think, oh, Northwestern, Minnesota, it was just Northwestern and Penn State were like the bottom 2 teams. And I mean, here lately you can toss Minnesota in there, but it's like that's where you're really setting the bar for this team to make the Big Ten tournament. When there were people saying, oh, this team should definitely go to the Sweet 16 with the amount of money they paid and the talent they brought in. Carlisle had a drive right in front of me, and the guy on UCLA that's 7'3", Ade Mara, yeah, I mean, that dude is incredibly tall, and like Carlisle had a drive right in front of us. It's like he drives in, this Mara guy is like back behind this dude and just still reached up and tipped the ball away. That was unbelievable defense when you got a guy 7'3" that can just reach up and do that. But I don't want to say it's completely over for the Hoosiers, but it is about completely over for the Hoosiers. I mean, they really needed to win this game. You could start to see some type of path, and you would think if they could get into the tournament. Where my brain's going here now more than ever is like, what guys are going to come back on this team? Are there any of these guys that are worth saving? Like, I mean, a new coach is going to come in, and Malik Reneau might not be – he's just not going to be a defensive-minded coach, which every coach really in the Big Ten is defensive-minded. I mean, except for the really bad teams like Iowa doesn't play defense, and that's why they're just really, really crappy, But to be a top-level team, that's why Michigan State's so good. I mean, Michigan State is not some greatly talented team, and you can see when we played them, they could not shoot from the outside, but they kept that game super close. And in another game like this UCLA game, I thought was somewhat similar to that Michigan State game, and just like how UCLA plays like a gritty style. I mean, they really block you out and try to get every extra possession, try to get anything they possibly can. So it's just I don't know what to say about it. It's over for this group. I mean, I'm going to watch them the rest of the way, and I was watching Ole Miss, this game this morning. They were playing Mississippi State, and hey, they got blown out at home. I mean, it ended up being a 10-point game at the end, but in Mississippi State, I mean, just unbelievable that Mississippi State is ranked. I mean, the SEC is probably going to get like 15 teams in the tournament, and that is just a gauntlet of teams in the SEC. So another loss for the Hoosiers. Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Like, do you think the vibe was positive? I did not. I mean, a lot of people were really pumped up. I think a lot of people were really down after the first half, but they came right out, and Goody hit some shots to start out the second half, and it seemed like the vibe was pretty good. I uploaded, there was this old lady on the jumbotron they just kept showing over and over again that was really getting the crowd going. But one balcony was completely empty, and one balcony was had some people in it. So, there was probably about 13,000 people there. I'm guessing 10 to, or maybe 11 to 13,000. It's kind of hard to say. But I think people are more rooting for the team, rooting for the players because Mike Woodson is gone. Mike Woodson sent out a guy named Isaac to do his post-game interview with Don Fisher. Now, he's like contractually obligated to do that. So I don't know if he gets fined for that or if they just let that slide. They're like, well, but it's clear Mike Woodson, this group entirely is really kind of it's just gone entirely off the rails. I mean, you can look at that Michigan State game and it could be just a game in a vacuum really in the end. It's like, well, Michigan State, they're a terrible shooting team. They shot the ball terribly in that game. And UCLA shot the free throws terribly at the end of this game, but the plays down the stretch, normally Mbako would hit that shot, but also Miles Rice flashed wide open on that. Indiana's passing is terrible. I mean, that is one thing when you watch them that they just don't have crisp passes that are making the defense work. And when you're just standing around, bringing the ball up slow, standing around all the time, you're just letting the defense rest. And then as soon as they do get turnover or anything, they're just going to be able to push the pace a little bit on you. And that is just not Indiana's game. Although at the beginning of the season, they said, yep, they wanted to push the pace, all this type of crap. But I'm going to wrap it up because, I'd look at the stats and everything here, but it's really the roller coaster continues because there's just not one guy on this team that you can really look at and trust or think, boy, what you take of positives of one game, you can never transfer it to the next. Now, I mean, Goody seems to bring passion and fire every single game, but and yeah, this is the exchange. Let me pull this up here. Yeah, this exchange right here. You can tell Goody's going like, I told you. And this is one where Miles Rice, on the play right before that, he drove the ball, and there was 20 seconds on the shot clock, I believe, and he just takes a long two out of nowhere. And you see this over and over and over again on – but you see this over and over and over again. There's just no direction. If a guy gets open or if a guy thinks, oh, I'm going to do this myself, he's just going to go and do it himself. And that's just this team in a nutshell. It's every guy is just five guys all playing their own game. It's been like that all year. It's never come together. And that play with Miles Rice was just a perfect example. It's he drives, he finds himself open there, and he just fires it up. And I believe there was a play or two before that, one where Galloway almost did the exact same thing. He shot a three-pointer with 20 seconds on the shot clock. And I'm just thinking, what are you doing? And then there was the play. Galloway comes down, makes a nice pass down to Ballo. And it's he's just seems tired and out of sort. I mean, that ball just went right off of his hands. I mean, your ability to concentrate in big-time moments, and it's he had a smaller guy on him right there, could have grabbed the ball, put it in. I believe that would have made it a 2-point game, but Indiana Mike Woodson said it all year. They can't get over the hump. They're not getting over the hump, and that's just all there is to it with this team. But thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. I have a video coming out tomorrow about Joe Hillman. He was on a show, and I got 9 clips lined up, and we'll talk about what he said on there about the team and about the future and about the coaching and everything like that. And I love Joe Hillman, so I always want to put ex Hoosiers on who like go on the radio and stuff like that, because I know everybody loves those videos and we'll react to that together. So thank you so much for joining me on Indiana Sports Connection. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans.